Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. What are some of the things we learned from watching tonight's SmackDown Live? Well, firstly, the WWE, they have a problem with certain wrestlers having last names. I don't know why that is, but that seems to be a thing. Secondly, they have no idea at all what the hell to do with anybody that they have called up from NXT, as they just keep sprinkling them all throughout these shows with no meaning and nothing to do and just making everybody look kind of stupid, if you ask me. The third thing is, the WWE apparently feels that Shane McMahon's co-bestie birthday bash is more important than the WWE Heavyweight Championship of the world, and that makes me absolutely nauseous to no end. And finally, and probably most importantly, at least to Vince McMahon, when the ratings are down, the WWE goes not to professional wrestling, not to qualifying or making better quality content, but they tell the ladies to get naked. Let's take some clothes off and go back to the Attitude Era, because that'll get people to come back to the shows and slap the women's revolution right in the mouth while doing it. We are going to talk about all of that and so much more on tonight's very disappointing episode of SmackDown Live, with one tremendously great match that was disrespected as well. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's SmackDown Live review for this Tuesday, January the 15th, 2019. Let's do it!
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Alright, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining me once again on the channel tonight. Damn you, SmackDown Live! Damn you for being so terrible tonight! On raw levels of garbage. That's what we were served on tonight's SmackDown Live, with a nice little side nugget, something to please your palate, in the form of Andrade Cien Almas versus Rey Mysterio. I wasn't surprised by that match. You may have been, but that's because if you were surprised at that match, you haven't been paying attention to me on this show. If you're a fan of the show, one of the things I've been talking about all throughout 2018 is the possibility of a feud between Andrade Cien Almas and Rey Mysterio. And when you see a match that you got to see tonight on SmackDown Live, you know that I know what I'm talking about. These two guys were made for each other. That match was amazing. But why are we just calling him Andrade now? Why? Why are you taking somebody that has tremendous value, that his name actually means something? It has been connected to the NXT Heavyweight Championship. It wasn't held by Andrade. It was held by Andrade Cien Almas. Would you do this to anybody else of stature, anybody else of note? Would you do this to a Seth Rollins? Are you just going to call him Seth? Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the ring, Seth. No. You're not going to want to burn it down. Seth sounds like the kid you used to give wedgies to back in the 9th grade. Why are they dropping his last name? Are you going to do this to a guy like Bobby Roode or Bobby Lashley, and we're just going to have two guys walking around called Bobby? Hey, everybody, welcome to the ring, Bobby. No, you're not going to do that. And no, there's not more than one Andrade on the roster, so you're not going to get him confused with somebody else. But it just makes no sense to take pieces of this man's identity, some of his distinguishing traits like his last name, and take it away from him. That would be like taking Zelina Vega away from him. God forbid they do that. Would you do this to Stone Cold Steve Austin? Hey everybody, the WWE's deciding we're going to do away with the Stone Cold and the Austin. Everybody, let's introduce you to the WWE Hall of Famer, Steve, everybody. It's Steve. Give it up for Steve. Why? The continued disrespect of Andrade Cien Almas just goes on and on and on with no end. And this guy goes out there and gives you a near 5-star match with a legend. And this is what he gets? He gets his name taken away from him? It doesn't make sense. And I hate it. I hate everything about that. Andrade is not the only thing that he should be called. And then you're going to have the guys confused on the announce team anyway. They're still calling him Almost when they're calling matches. Why are you dropping the last name? They did it to Apollo Crews, and thankfully they took his name and gave it back to him. We had to just call him Apollo for a couple of weeks. I couldn't do it. I couldn't get the Crews to stop coming out. Hopefully that's what happens here, and maybe they realize how silly it kind of sounds and that it doesn't really make sense for his character. I don't like it. I really, really don't. Then we got to talk about the obvious elephant in the room, which is what they did to Becky Lynch tonight. Now, you might not be seeing this as too much of a big deal. Well, Becky Lynch was in a prime spot. She opened the show, Mr. Nightmare. She was part of a big match, and she blah, blah, blah. No. You got it all ass backwards. You see, what they did tonight was very stupid. What they did was also a slap in the face of the man. Becky Lynch is out there talking trash about Asuka. Asuka came out to confront her. Asuka can't speak English. We all know this. She does it very poorly, and she was screaming and hipping and hollering in Japanese tonight, and that's all fine. I don't care too much about that. But then you got the iconic duo coming out there and putting their 2 cents in where it doesn't belong. What the hell do they have to do with the SmackDown Live Women's Championship? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Here is a team of girls that has shown up and has done nothing, giving the WWE more credibility in their track record of failing people that they call up from NXT. Which is probably the future for most of the people we keep seeing littered throughout the show in these hyped call-ups that they have no idea what they're doing with. And Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, the iconic duo, is a prime example of how that's going to happen. They have nothing to do with this, and they come out talking about being in the Women's Royal Rumble and yada, yada, yada. Nobody gave a shit. I certainly didn't. But Becky Lynch came and she was ready to fight. I was afraid we were going to have a repeat of last night and have the challenger and the champion team up to take on a tag team. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But what we did have happen was Becky Lynch go one-on-one with Peyton Royce, to be followed impromptu in both scenarios by Asuka versus Billie Kay. And the problem with both of these matches is that they were not equal. They were not equal. Becky Lynch is the man. She has been the most red-hot item in all of professional wrestling, and she should be given the prime spotlight right now. I know Asuka is the champion, right? So that's why they needed to be on equal footing. You want to tell a story where you are not going to be able to tell who's going to win come Royal Rumble time when these two go head-to-head for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship, right? But you have Becky Lynch go out there and have a match. Like, she had a match with Peyton Royce. Peyton Royce took the fight to Becky Lynch, and it took Becky Lynch quite some time to get this match under control and finally come out with the win. And then Asuka goes out there and squashes Billie Kay in about 2.5 minutes. That makes Becky Lynch look inferior. That makes Peyton Royce look like she's 1,000 times better than Billie Kay. Is that an actual fact? Is that why they did that? Who's Peyton Royce screwing in the back that she has to come out looking so good? What is the reason to put her over in that manner with Becky Lynch? They've done nothing. They don't need to make Peyton Royce and Billie Kay's stars shine brighter off of the backs of Becky Lynch and Asuka. You're supposed to be building the SmackDown Live Women's Tag Team division now that you got the tag team titles coming at the Elimination Chamber. But you're putting them in storylines that don't make sense. You're making them talk, which is the worst thing you could do with the iconic duo. It's just the most off-putting, most dreadful minutes of SmackDown Live when a microphone is in their hands. And then you got Billie Kay with her face. Just close your mouth. Shut up. Nobody wants to hear you. That's fine. You're not talking. But what is this? The whole time Peyton Royce is talking, she's just standing there trying to catch flies in her mouth. Maybe she's hungry because she's starving herself. She's trying to get anything that she can from the air as nutrition to nourish her body. What was that all about? It's awful. Once again, if I want to draw comparisons, to the males division? Right? What if they wanted to do this exact same thing for the WWE Heavyweight Championship? It would have been equal to having AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan both go one-on-one with the Colon Brothers, a team that since coming to SmackDown Live has done absolutely nothing. They have no value and nobody really wants to see them. And then you have Daniel Bryan have a quick squash match with Primo, and then AJ Styles goes 10 minutes with Epico. How does that make sense? It makes AJ look bad, doesn't it? It makes AJ look like he can't do what Daniel does. And that's what they did to Becky Lynch tonight. And I don't understand it. It should have been equal. Becky should have went in there, bop, 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 beat the hell out of Peyton Royce, and then Asuka could have done the exact same way, have it within the same amount of time. It don't have to be the exact same time, but you know, one girl beats her in 4 minutes, one girl beats her in 3.5 minutes, and it's not such a big deal. Equal footing, equal ground, it builds some sort of an intrigue. It was like, wow, they're going head to head, they're going move for move, like toe to toe with each other, and they're keeping pace. You got another week to try to build this thing. Let's continue on. But no, you did something so stupid and so foolish like that, and I don't understand the logic behind it. Just like I don't understand why we had to go off the air tonight with this birthday bullshit celebration. I don't give two shits that it's Shane McMahon's birthday. I don't give a damn that he's 49 years old. I don't care that he's still considered to be the best in the world. It does not make sense that here we are in 2019, headed towards the Royal Rumble, getting ready to start WrestleMania season, and this ridiculous bullshit cup that means absolutely nothing, that was won by a member of the corporate office, is still being given TV time, is still being given credibility. It is being given more TV time than Braun Strowman's win at the greatest Royal Rumble with that ridiculous green and red looking cup. It's been given more prominence and more screen time than the heavyweight championship tonight. AJ Styles showed up tonight. He came out following all of the Asuka and Becky nonsense, right? He comes out and does nothing. He came out to do nothing. He came out to the ring to leave. His music hit, they don't want none. They don't want none, huh? And he goes to the ring, and then he jumps the barricade and goes up the stairs, and it's like, bye, everybody. Wasn't that fucking phenomenal? And then we went to commercial to come back and have him do the whole concession stand thing with Daniel Bryan. AJ Styles showed up to do nothing. Brawl with Daniel Bryan in the back. Daniel Bryan spills some mustard on his pants after he gets put through a snack table. 4 minutes, 5 minutes tops. And then the whole last 30 to 35 minutes of the show is dedicated to The Miz and Shane McMahon and their pursuit of the tag team championships. The Miz presents the bestie birthday bullshit barf on yourself bash. No, thank you. I was checking out on this storyline weeks ago. You guys that have been paying attention, you know that for a fact. I hate everything about this. Daddy issues is what brought them together. Go fuck yourself. Nobody cares about this. And then you're going to have a team like The Bar. The one team in the entire company that can say they have had success on both shows, beaten everybody there is to beat, and you are going to have them be second fiddle to a comedy act, a sympathetic daytime drama bullshit bromance between The Miz and Shane McMahon. Absolutely not what I want to see. All to have The Miz go one-on-one with Sheamus in the main event tonight for absolutely nothing. But you got Andrade Cien Almas and Rey Mysterio throwing down in a classic, and that couldn't close? You had to have known what you were going to get from those two guys. At the very least, you could have saved AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan's 5-minute food fight instead of having us watch The Miz and Shane McMahon kick cake around the ring We could have had the show go off the air on that. These two guys battling it out amongst the fans in the concession stand. Mustard and ketchup flying everywhere. Daniel Bryan's mad that there's hot dogs. AJ Styles mad that Daniel Bryan's there and exists at all. And it would have been a much better way to go off the air. Instead of watching Shane McMahon and The Miz laughing and smiling and yucking it up like two pretend brothers. Oh, look how much we're friends now. Get that shit out of here. You take that off this show, and you have at least a half-decent show the rest of the way out. You can't just have Andrade Cien Almas and Rey Mysterio come out there and burn the house down, and then come here and say, well, it was a great show. No. Show means the whole entirety of the 2 hours. The show as a whole was shit tonight. Blue-colored shit pinched out the ass of Vince McMahon. I'm totally convinced that Vince McMahon did one of his I'm rewriting the shows myself tonight thing. Because as I said at the get-go of this broadcast, this show felt like watching Monday Night Raw. And that's not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. And look at what they did with the Usos and Naomi and Mandy Rose. Now, on the one hand, I will say that the phony love triangle thing, to have mind games going on between Mandy Rose and Naomi, that's what they're going for, and I'm actually okay with that. It doesn't mean anything for her to send him little love notes, accidentally meet him under the mistletoe, tease him while they're in public at the arena with other people around, things like that, which makes sense. But once you start giving out hotel room keys, and you have people walking into other people's dressing rooms, as we had last night, to see Alexa's Bliss bags, almost see them in all their glory, because we're just walking into women's dressing rooms now to catch them half naked in the back. And now we come to tonight, a little less than 24 hours later, and Mandy Rose is in lingerie in a hotel room trying to play like she's going to sleep with Jimmy Uso. And she has a photographer hidden in the closet, and he's taking a picture because he knew that Jimmy Uso was reaching out in a manner where it could look like he was trying to touch her, where the whole time he was telling this girl, hey, you need to stop with this. I'm a married man and I don't do this shit. And all she wants to do is take this picture to send it to Naomi to get in her head. She even said herself, my intentions were not to sleep with you. You really thought you had a chance with me. This was all to mess with your wife. And then he's like, my wife? And no, somebody else's wife. Of course your wife, you nitwit. And then Naomi comes in a blur of green into the hotel room, and we have some shenanigans between the two girls, which ends with Mandy Rose slipping out without truly getting the comeuppance just yet, which all in all is fine. But did we have to have her really stoop that low? It's not 1997. I know the ratings are down, but you had Alexa Bliss half naked last night. You have Mandy Rose half naked tonight. That is a direct, disrespectful slap in the face to all of the hard work that the girls like Becky and Asuka and Charlotte and Sasha and even Ronda are trying to put out there and get this women's revolution out there still as an actual thing, because women should be respected. We're not just eye candy, and it's not about that. Wrestling's not just about TNA. We had the return of TNA tonight, right? Not the organization that fell under, not Trish Stratus's old stable, but actual tits and ass are coming back to Monday Night Raw. Am I supposed to get excited? I'm a 42-year-old man. I'm almost 42 years old. I've been married for 20 years. If I want some TNA, I can go in the other room right now and see it live and in person. And I can actually touch it. And it's so much better when you can do that. So seeing them on TV in this manner does nothing to me. What I want to see is women wrestle. But as of late, they can't even get that right. We already talked about my feelings of the beginning of this show. Let's go back down this list. Oh, and while we're still talking about the Usos, I feel like they looked a little bit like a couple of chumps. Because if I had a twin brother, and I was happily married, as I am, and I had somebody coming at me the way Mandy Rose is coming at, I'm going to have some fun with this. And I'm going to be like, listen, this girl thinks she's slick. We're going to play one up on her. Why don't you go to her room, pretend you're me? And then we will bust into the room and be like, boom, we got you. That's not even me, you stupid bitch. And then my girl could beat her ass. That would have been fun, right? That would have been kind of cool. The Usos are just standing there. Jimmy Uso gets this note. He assumes it's from his boo, but it's not. It's from Mandy Rose. And they're just standing there like, yo, what do we do, Us? I don't know, Us. What do we do, son? I don't know, Us. They should have been like, yo, I got an idea. And then that's all we needed to hear. And then they could have played it out the way I said it, and it would have been a whole lot more entertaining. And you know what? The girl wouldn't have probably been able to come off as trashy as she did in this segment. I don't want to see wrestling go back down this road. This reminded me immediately of the days where Trish Stratus was laying herself out on wooden tables, offering herself up as a sacrifice to the Dudley Boys just to get in their head. She was never going to sleep with Bubba Ray Dudley. She was never going to sleep with Devon Dudley. But she did all these things with the lingerie and everything. And I was a young man in my 20s, and I was prime and ready to go. And I had a thing for Trish Stratus, and I thought it was great. It was good TV for me. 20 years down the road, I mean, maybe some of you younger guys are like, hey, shut the fuck up, old man. We want to see some tits and you know, at least as much as they'll let us. Some of you guys maybe got a thing for Mandy Rose and really got off on that tonight. Good for you. I'm glad you had a good time. I'm not seeing it that way. I'm seeing it as damaging to everything that they have put into the women's division this year. You got the tag team championships being debuted and talked about, and at the same time, we're still doing these slutty angles and these half-naked shoots and whatnot. I thought this is the type of shit we were getting away from. Apparently not. Just pisses me off. And why didn't they use Twin Magic, man? It was the perfect opportunity. They don't have actual creative people on the creative team. They went the easy way out instead of coming up with something a little bit more fun and unique and different. How come the Bellas are the only one that can take advantage of the Twin Magic, even though nowadays they don't even look alike anymore? Sheesh. Let's go down the card. We talked about most of this shit. SmackDown Live was short and sweet and to the point. Oh, there was one thing I did not write in the notes that we did miss that I do want to touch upon. Samoa Joe versus Mustafa Ali was scheduled for this evening, and it never got started because Samoa Joe is an absolute man beast, and he just went out there and ripped this kid to shreds, sending him from pillar to post into almost every single steel ring post on the outside of the arena of the ring that he could. Mustafa Ali took these things beautifully. He sold it very well. Samoa Joe coming back multiple times just to inflict punishment on Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali never got going. He didn't even get to take his mask off on his own power. He was attacked right from the get-go. He went up onto the ring to celebrate during his entrance and say hello to the crowd, and Samoa Joe would immediately get on the attack. This whole thing was fantastic. I love seeing Joe this fired up. I like the prospect of a feud between Joe and Ali. I think Mustafa Ali can hang and bang with the best of them, and Samoa Joe would be a great opponent. You got the David versus Goliath story going on there. Now they have this incident to play off of everything else that has already kind of happened in their history on SmackDown Live. This was their first one-on-one encounter, and it was great. Nobody wins, nobody loses technically, but Samoa Joe is in a mindset where he won the day. He took this battle, but the war is far from over, and his frame of mind right now seemingly is set on winning his first ever Royal Rumble appearance coming up in just 1 week from Sunday. I don't expect Samoa Joe to win, but if he did, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it. And the Samoa Joe we seen tonight is the Samoa Joe we always want to see. He was fired up. He was ready to go. And he tore Mustafa Ali up. I felt bad for the kid when it was all over, but at the end of the day, this was great for him because now everybody's going to be even more behind Mustafa Ali when he wants to get his vengeance on the Samoan submission machine. Some good stuff on the night still. That added to the Almas and Mysterio match. A lot of bullshit tonight. There was a lot of time dedicated to the 4 or 5 small segments we had tonight. We seen Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville in the back planning this whole thing. Sonya Deville seemed to be disgusted by everything Mandy Rose was doing, which I didn't understand. I thought she would have her homies back, right? But even she thinks this was a bad idea. So maybe you should learn, listen to your friends. Looking out for your friends is a good thing. It's usually a win. But not in this case. And not really much else to talk about tonight. The action in that match between Rey and Andrade was fantastic. And everything else we pretty much covered. They announced one more match for the Royal Rumble. They announced the matchup between Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura for the United States Championship. We're not giving rematches anymore. But here we are with the Shinsuke Nakamura getting his rematch. And Rusev wanting to get some vengeance on Nakamura for all of the stuff that he has put him through over the last couple of weeks. So there was that. And then the show ended with this stupid happy birthday party that nobody really gave a shit about. And you have The Miz going over on Sheamus, getting a win over one half of the tag team champions tonight in a ridiculous fashion. Cesaro gets put through a table covered in cake. And then Shane McMahon unnecessarily goes for a coast-to-coast. Does he not realize, as I have realized and pointed out to you guys a couple of times in this video, that 20 years has passed since guys like Shane McMahon and I were cool enough to do things like a coast-to-coast? I don't even think Rob Van Dam does the coast-to-coast anymore because it's fucking dangerous. It's on the hardest part of the ring. He barely even connects. The Miz tried to assist by holding a cake in the face of Sheamus. I don't know why that was necessary. Maybe because he knew Shane wasn't going to make the distance. I don't know. What's with the WWE and the food? We've talked about this all through 2018. See, 2019, the more things change, the more they stay the same. We're seeing hot dogs and shit flying at the beginning of the show, and by the end of the show, people are being slapped in the face with cake. This was tonight's episode of SmackDown Live. The Miz gets the win. They think it's hysterical. He and Shane McMahon laughing it up like a couple of old retards at the end of this thing. And I was not happy when all was said and done. We covered everything from top to bottom. I don't think there's much more I can say to you guys. Everything else, we just have to wait and see, as we have one more show to go. It is a week from this Sunday. We are going to have the go-home show here before you know it, and I'm already scared. I'm already scared, and we're always frightened when it comes to the WWE and their shit and what they've been doing. Tonight's SmackDown Live was a rare misstep. Usually we're sitting here telling everybody how much better SmackDown Live is than Monday Night Raw, and while that still is the case, that doesn't mean they can't put out a dud every once in a while. And this episode definitely was that. Once again, I have to just take the exception out there because it was fantastic. The match between Andrade and Rey Mysterio. Andrade seeing Almas picking up another win in this series. And I hope to God, whichever God it is you pray to him or her or it for me. And so that we can have this match at WrestleMania and give them some time to go out there and put on something even better than what we saw tonight, because tonight so far was the best main roster match I've seen on the regular weekly programming from the WWE, and it's going to be a tough one to top, so they're going to really have to pull some shit out of their hat if they're going to want to outdo the matchup we saw tonight. Very Lucha Libre inspired, but I could care less. It was one of the most impressive outings I have seen from Almas, and that is saying something. This is a guy that went the distance with guys like Johnny Gargano back in NXT, so this was obviously a dream match for him, and everybody walks away proud with this one. Even Rey Mysterio can't hang his mask up in shame because he had a tremendous performance for a man his age out there tonight. And why did his mask say mask? Did he need to be reminded, oh, this is my mask, so make sure you put the word mask on my mask so I know to put it on my head and not to put it on my feet somewhere? What? I notice these things and they bother me and I have to say stupid shit about it. And that's why I have a show. And that's why you guys come here, because this is what we do here at Sledgehammer TV. Thank you guys so much for being here with me once again on another review of Smackdown Live. If you missed Monday Night Raw's review and the hammering that it took last night, it will be linked in the annotations up above for you guys to watch immediately following this one. We also covered NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool. It was an absolutely fantastic show that overshadowed every single thing that we've seen this week. And I don't understand why every wrestling crowd is not like the crowds that we get in the UK for weekly NXT UK television. And for the TakeOver, it was absolutely off the charts. It was a great show. If you want to know my thoughts about that one, go check that out. It's live on the channel right now, and I will link that up there as well. Lots of new and special things coming to you guys in 2019 as we're looking to make this the year of the hammer, and you can help us do that by becoming one of the happy members of the Sledgehammer TV family that we are growing here by the minute. We got you guys growing this channel at a great rate, and we want to keep that continuing. So if you enjoyed today's show and you enjoyed everything that I said today and you agree with most of my points, then you need to be here on a weekly basis, and the best way to do that is to hit that subscribe button right now and become one of the Sledgehammer Clubs, one of my legion of fans that I consider to be my family. All of my loyal and brothers and sisters out there know I look forward to seeing everything you guys have to say in the comment section down below, so make sure you light that up. While you're down there doing things and clicking around, hit that like button so that the whole entire world knows that this is a video worth watching and that while you were here, you had a great time. And let's continue to try to reach that goal of having every video that goes up this year hit that 100 like mark with nearly 1,200 subs. That shouldn't be a stretch. That shouldn't be a lot to ask. I know some of you guys probably watch me on your phone, which is why you can't hit that like button. So why don't you go to your computer when you're done watching me on your phone or, you know, your smart TV or whatever, and just watch it again? That would be nice, but you don't have to watch the whole thing, but just go and give me that like, just so that we could get to that goal, because we're goal-oriented and we want that 100 plus likes every single week, and we depend on you guys to do it. So help us by doing that, and you can also help us by letting us grow even further to share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over this crazy wrestling world, especially if they have no idea what to think about what happened tonight with Smackdown Live and how they continue to misuse NXT talent and just bury these shows week in and week out. We have a home for them, and there is always a place for well-educated, respectful, and fun wrestling fans just like you. So make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and share, and become part of the community that is taking over YouTube in 2019. I am Nick Nightmare, and this is my team, Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show and the Wrestling God of Thunder. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball Microphone. The most important member of the team is you guys, and the final member of the team is Audible. Audible is our official sponsor, and they have over 180,000 books that can speak to you, whatever it is you want to listen to with your earballs, whether it's Crazy Is My Superpower by A.J. Lee, Mendez Brooks, or Jim Ross's My Life in Wrestling, The Death of WCW, or many choices non-wrestling related as well. I got you covered with one free audiobook if you sign up for the 30-day free trial. Won't cost you a single nickel. You get to choose one book, and then if you cancel this membership at any time, you still get to keep that book free of charge for the rest of your life to listen to at your leisure. All you gotta do is go to audibletrial.com/sledgehammertv. That's audibletrial.com/sledgehammertv, like you see on the screen in front of you. Go check it out and take advantage of that great deal for me right now. And for those of you guys listening to us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or Podbean, make sure you get your ears over to the YouTube channel. That's Sledgehammer TV on YouTube, and become a member of the greatest team growing in wrestling today. Much love to each and every one of you guys. Thanks for sticking this one out with me as well. That is going to do it. We are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV. Boom!